Today we are going to discuss about the brake test on DC shunt motor. So this brake test is also known as load test or direct test. So we will go into the aim first. So to aim is to obtain the performance characteristics of a DC shunt motor by conducting brake test. So while going to the nameplate details, the power rating required for this motor is 2.2 kilowatt and voltage rating is 220 volts DC supply and current rating is 11.6 amperes, that is the maximum current we can load, and rated speed of the machine is 1500 rpm and type is DC shunt motor. So these are the operators required for performing a experiment. So we required one voltmeter and its range is 350 volts and type is MC, and we required ammeter and its range is 10 amperes, type is MC. We required a rheostat and its range is 360 ohm by 1.2 amperes and 3-point starter. So these are the operators we required. And coming to the circuit diagram, this is our circuit diagram. So this is DC supply terminals, plus and minus are the DC supply terminals and 220 volts DC supply. So plus and minus terminals are connected to our circuit board through a DPST switch. Next, this connection is connected to circuit with the help of fuses. These 10 amperes are the fuses. Next, we will start from plus and we will end with the minus terminal. From plus, DPST switch to 10 amperes fuse. 10 amperes fuse to one wire is taken and we are connecting that one to the plus terminal of the ammeter. Minus is nothing but its range. Its range means for 10 amperes we are taking two wires, one to the voltmeter plus terminal, another wire is connected to 3-point starter line terminal. So second terminal is F. LFA means line, F means field, A means armature. From field terminal we are taking one wire or one conductor and we are connecting to rheostat. This rheostat rating is 360 ohm by 1.2 amperes we have to take. So this is fixed end, this is variable end. So arrow mark denotes that it is a variable end. From variable end to field winding Z. Z and ZZ are the field winding terminals. So ZZ is connected to negative terminal or voltmeter negative or ammeter. Anyway we can connect this one. Next, last terminal in 3-point starter is A. A means armature. 3-point starter armature is connected to motor armature. So this connection got completed. Next connection is AA. AA is nothing but armature. Armature terminal is connected to ZZ. ZZ terminal is connected to negative terminal of the voltage, that is 300 volts. This one is connected to DPST switch. This is how our connection should be. So this part is the DC shunt motor brake drum. This is brake drum. This is spring balance weights S1 and S2. This is the circuit explanation. Now we are going to the connection part. So coming to the connection part, this is the plus terminal and this is the minus terminal. This is the DPST switch. These are the fuses which I was explained in the diagram. So from plus terminal I had taken one wire and I had connected to voltmeter, and from voltmeter I had taken one more wire, I had connected for ammeter plus. Ammeter 10 is connected to 3-point starter L. 3-point starter armature is connected to our motor A. Next, Z is connected to field winding. So field winding Z is connected to rheostat fixed end and variable end is connected to Z and ZZ and AA and voltmeter minus should be connected to negative terminal. So we have to start with plus and we have to come with minus. Then only the circuit will be in a closed manner. Otherwise the circuit is not going to be closed. Now we are going to perform this experiment. So before performing the experiment we have to keep the rheostat in minimum position. Now I am closing the DPST switch. So after closing the DPST switch we have to start the DC shunt motor with the help of 3-point starter. This is the 3-point starter. So slowly we have to move the piston of the 3-point starter. So now we have switched on and the motor is in running condition. So if you look at there, the brake drum will be in rotating position, this one we can clearly see that, and these are the spring balance weights. Now with the help of this tachometer we have to set the rated speed. So now we will check what will be the speed. 1382 is there, so we have to set the rated speed by varying the rheostat. So I have moved little bit. Now again I am checking whether the speed is 1500 or not. 1450 it was came, so that's why again I have to move my rheostat variable position to somewhat. Now again I am checking whether the speed is set to 1500 or not. It became 1516, so that's why I have to reduce the rheostat position. So little bit we are moving this one. Now again I am checking. So 1492 it was came. 1494. So now again we have to move little bit. So it was reached to 1500. So we have set the speed as 1500 RPM. So we have to reduce
तगिया कोई पेंसिल
So after setting 1500 RPM, right, now the speed is 1500 RPM. Now we are going to prove, now first we have to take the no load readings. So look at here, this S1 is 0, S2 is 0, you can take anyway, S1, S2 or S1, S2. First we have to take down the readings. So first reading we have to take from the voltmeter. So it is 110, 112 or 114. That should be multiplied with 2. Why? Because we have connected for 300 but the scale is for only 150. So that's why whatever the value we had got in the meter, that value has to be multiplied with 2 and we have to note down that one. So the current is 2 amperes and the scale is 10 and we have connected for 10. So no need to multiply for ammeter, but for voltmeter we have to do multiplication, and this is the tabular column. This is the applied voltage, this is the current, this is the input power. Input power we will get from, by multiplying voltage and current you are going to get power. Speed 1500 we had set, so that's why we are noting that one as 1500. So weights S1 and S2 we had set that one as to 0. So if you calculate, you are going to get all zeros for first values. So after taking first reading, we are going for load test. That means we are going to put load. So that means we have to put load. Load can be put by with the help of this ring. So by tightening this ring, the load is applied on the DC shunt motor. So you can tighten both the rings. So this is 4.2 kg. This is 1.5 kg. So S1 value is 4.5, S2 is 1.5. S1, S2 values we have to note down. After noting that one, we have to write down voltage and currents. Now current was reached to nearly 5 amperes, and next thing we have to note down is speed. So the speed was reduced to 1450 RPM. So in this manner we have to check, and we will go up to, so we will go up to rated current. So rated current they had given 11.6 amperes. You can go till 11.6 amperes. So అమ్మీటర్ లో మనకు కనిపిస్తున్నటువంటి వాల్యూ 11.6 amperes వచ్చే వరకు నువ్వు లోడ్ అనేది ఇంక్రీజ్ చేసుకుంటూ వెళ్ళి స్టెప్ బై స్టెప్ మనము కరెంట్ని ఇంక్రీజ్ చేసుకుంటూ 11.6 మించకుండా చెక్ చేసుకోవాలి. అక్కడ నేమ్ ప్లేట్ డీటెయిల్స్ ఉంటుంది. అలాగే మనకు ఈ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్ టేబుల్ మీద కూడా మనకు వీటి యొక్క రేటింగ్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఈ రేటింగ్ రీచ్ 11.6 దాటకుండా మనం లోడ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఇలా స్టెప్ బై స్టెప్ మనము ప్రతిసారి లోడ్ వేసిన తర్వాత రీడింగ్స్ అన్నీ నోట్ చేసుకోవడం. సో 11.6కి ఎట్టి పరిస్థితుల్లోనూ మనము వాల్యూ దాటకుండా చూసుకోవాలి. చూడండి, ఇక్కడ ఆల్రెడీ వాల్యూస్ తీసుకున్నటువంటివి ఉన్నాయి మన దగ్గర. కరెంట్ ఈజ్ 1.9, 2.8, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5 and 8 amperes. So maximum they had gone up to 8 amperes. So coming to the calculations, so these are the voltages at different loads, current at different loads, input power. This one is we had calculated with the help of the formula V into I. Voltage and current are multiplied and we had got input power. So next one is speed. Speed we had taken with the help of tachometer for different readings. S1 and S2 we had taken from the weights, spring balance weights we had taken. Next thing is torque. For calculating the torque, you are going to get formula as 9.81 into S1 minus S2 into R. So R is the radius of the breakdown. So if you substitute in this thing, you are going to get these values. After getting torque values, you have to find out the output. The formula to find out the output is 2 pi nt divided by 60. So the formula for calculating output is 2 pi nt divided by 60. So here this was not clear, so that's why it is not visible. So you take down the formula. The formula is 2 pi nt divided by 60. That is the formula for calculating the output. Next one is efficiency. For efficiency calculation, the formula is output by input into 100. So again I am repeating, here it is not clear, so that's why please make a note. For calculating the efficiency, the formula is output by input into 100. Here in this tabular column they had calculated first efficiency, they got 0, after that they got 21.9, after that they got 37.8, after that 33.7, after that 44.5, after that 53.5, and finally the efficiency they had got is 58.4. So here I am not saying that 58.4 is the highest value for getting efficiency. So it is going to be depending upon the performance of the machine. We have to get efficiency less than 100. So it should not go after 100. Beyond 100 we can get efficiency. This is the model graph. So in y-axis we are going to take speed n, current I, T is the torque, and eta is the efficiency. These four parameters we are taking down on y-axis. Under x-axis only one parameter, that is output. If you draw a graph, you are going to create a graph like this. So this is the model graph. We are going to get graph like this.